Coming up on today's show, I'm going to name 7 players the New York Knicks could look to sign in the NBA buyout market. They have a lot of injuries, and in my opinion, they could use another big man. We'll talk about that around the corner, but the news of the day continues to revolve around Jalen Brunson and the missed foul call that the NBA made in the last seconds of that loss that the New York Knicks had to the Houston Rockets. And now the New York Knicks are officially protesting that ruling. This is what Woj said. The Knicks are filing a protest with the NBA to dispute the 105-103 loss to the Rockets on Monday. Both the NBA's last 2-minute report and crew chief Ed Malloy acknowledged that the foul call on Jalen Brunson leading to Aaron Holiday's 2 winning free throws was incorrectly called. The Knicks and Rockets aren't scheduled to play again this season, but the hope would be to win the protest and play an overtime period to complete the game. Only 6 protests in league history have been upheld. So you had the head crew chief, Ed Malloy, say the call was wrong. You had the NBA as a league say the call was wrong. The Knicks should be playing overtime with the Houston Rockets. And right now, the NBA has an opportunity to make the right decision. Get the teams together in Houston and play the overtime period. It's the easy solution. Will it happen? Probably not, because this league, it could be an absolute joke. Welcome into Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. The topic of discussion on today's video is potential buyout targets for the New York Knicks. Because in my opinion, with all due respect to an absolute legend, the New York Knicks need to move on from Taj Gibson and sign an NBA caliber center in this league. Taj Gibson's best days are behind him. And with injuries to Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, which we'll talk about, the Knicks are going to need some more production from that backup center position. Tom Thibodeau is doing his best Tom Thibodeau impression by running Precious Achiuwa into the ground. Gibson, I appreciate you for everything you've done, but the Knicks need an NBA-level player at that center position, and Taj Gibson is just not that guy anymore. Here's an injury update on Isaiah Hartenstein, who's been dealing with a sore Achilles. It knocked him out of 2 games earlier in January. He missed the last game, and he had to be removed from a game just a couple of days ago. Hartenstein continues to deal with Achilles tendinopathy. I know I'm mispronouncing that. And it's questionable versus Orlando. Well, what is that? Tendinopathy, which I think is a lot closer. Tendinopathy is usually a type of overuse injury. Who would have thought? An injury that's in his Achilles is due to overuse. Yeah, Tom Thibodeau. How about you not play these guys 40 minutes every single night in February? Mitchell Robinson, also got an injury update on him. Could he be returning too soon? Well, Tom Thibodeau said Mitchell Robinson will resume basketball activities following the NBA All-Star break. So hopefully Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein will be able to come back after the All-Star break. Not so sure it will be that soon for Mitch, but the Knicks, they need those guys back, and they need this All-Star break like crazy. Tommy Beer, one of the best Knicks follows on Twitter, check him out, said dating back to the end of January, Precious Achiuwa leads the NBA in minutes played while averaging 13.3 points on 53.9% shooting, 10.4 rebounds, 1.3 steals, and 1.9 blocks. The only other player to average a double-double and more than 1 steal and 1 block during the stretch is Anthony Davis. The point of this is Precious Achiuwa is leading the NBA in minutes played. The Knicks, they need Mitchell Robinson back, and they also need Isaiah Hartenstein back as soon as possible. So, with the Knicks needing some center help, we're going to talk about some guys they could sign in NBA free agency. But if the Knicks make a move, we're going to make a video on this channel. So subscribe and turn your notifications on for free, informative updates on your New York Knicks. Let's start with Robin Lopez as a potential target for the New York Knicks. I want to go to that other player bio I put in there right after this, Jack. I didn't put it in the script. But Robin Lopez is really the first guy that comes to mind as a potential target for the Knicks. He's been here, but like Taj Gibson, his best days are behind him. He's played in 65 minutes this year. He's probably the best guy out there, but I don't really think the Knicks are going to sign him. A guy that I would like them to sign is a younger player, 6'9", 225 pounds out of USC, Chimezie Metu. He's had a couple good games this season, played some time with the Phoenix Suns, had a really good game against the Dallas Mavericks earlier this year. He's a shot blocker, he's a rim runner, and he's young. He can get better. This is the guy that I would go out and sign if I was the New York Knicks. But let's say they lose out on Metu or Lopez to other contenders. Let's talk about some buyout candidates they could sign. My number one buyout candidate is Nerlens Noel. Yeah, I'm bringing it back. Nerlens Noel, once a Knick, always a Knick. Look, at this point, I'm trying to be respectful to Taj Gibson. Anything is just about better. We know what Nerlens Noel is as a player. We know he can't really catch the pass. He does not have good hands, but he at least can defend. He can protect the rim, and he can catch some lobs and throw it down, and he does a pretty decent job switching on to defenders. I think Nerlens Noel makes a lot of sense. Another big man I think they could look at is Dwayne Dedmon. The journeyman has been all across the NBA, has not played in the league this year. He could shoot it a little bit from outside, but he gives them a true presence at 7 foot, 245 pounds. Look, all these guys are free agents for a reason. Their best days and their best hoops are behind them, but Dedmon, I think, could give you a little bit of something off the bench while Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson continue to battle back from injury. We got other players we're going to talk about, but first I got to get you guys hooked up with our proud sponsor, PrizePicks. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, and if you use that promo code, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. You might be like, well, Marshall, why am I playing daily fantasy sports football and the NFL is over? Well, you know what? They've got future MLB lineups that you can roll out there. They've already got season-long totals for guys like Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and Shohei Ohtani. I'm actually going to take the more on all of these guys' home runs because it's going to be Dinger City and in the Bronx this year, and I think Shohei Ohtani is going to have a really good year as well. Play PrizePicks, NBA. You know they do NFL, but also MLB. They'll be doing hockey. So much awesome stuff over at PrizePicks. I love the deals and the specials they'd always run. Check them out. $100 deposit match if you use the promo code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS. The next player I want to talk about on today's show is Khem Birch as a potential buyout target for the New York Knicks. Birch is 6'9", 223 pounds at a UNLV as he has career averages of 5 points, 4.4 rebounds, 1 assist per game. He's a little bit of a guy that I think can sneak by some people when it comes to potential buyout targets. He has some talent. He can jump. He's a really good lob catcher. He's explosive. He can block some shots. Not the best player, but someone the Knicks could look at. Also, if you want a kind of a project that the Knicks could look at, what about Kai Jones? Kai Jones out of the University of Texas, last played with the Charlotte Hornets. Look, we know his career kind of fell off the rails, and part of the reason he was cut is some locker room issues and things like that. But he is an athletic player, and he's someone that has talent. There's a reason that he was drafted as high as he was. I wouldn't mind taking a swing on a guy like this, but he's number 4 on my list for a reason. Last player I want to talk about on today's show is, what about Dwight Howard? I know he's got some legal stuff going on, but if we're strictly talking on the hardwood, I know for a fact that Dwight Howard is a better basketball player than Taj Gibson at this point. My overall arching theme of today's video is just to give you guys names of players that potentially the Knicks could sign. We know Dwight Howard's going to be an NBA Hall of Famer. He was great, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, the heart and the backbone of the Orlando Magic when they made the playoffs. But the thing is, there's got to be someone better out there than Taj Gibson. You cannot tell me that Taj Gibson is the best center that is not employed in the NBA. The Knicks should go out and get maybe one of these guys or maybe one of the 2 guys that we talked about at the top of today's show. Dwight Howard, he's a polarizing player, and I understand why. So I want to ask you this. Should the Knicks sign Dwight Howard? Let me know what you think. Should Dwight Howard be a New York Knick, type S for sign, type P for pass? Or if there's another player out there that you want the Knicks to sign, maybe it is Robin Lopez, maybe it is Metu, maybe it is Nerlens Noel, give me their name down below. The Knicks need the All-Star break here so bad, man. They need this All-Star break here. You got injuries to Mitch. You got injuries to iHeart. You got injuries to OG Anunoby. Tibbs is just running these guys dry right now. They need a week off. They need to recollect, and they need to hit their stride as this season comes to a close because they have a real opportunity to do something special in the NBA playoffs. Make sure you guys are following me over on social media. I'm tweeting about your New York Knicks every single day, and I'm trying to get you guys content up on my new Instagram as well. So give me a follow at Marshall Green on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll see you tonight for the game. Let's go Knicks.